I studied 10,000 sports bets, and I actually sat down, went through the data, pulled the numbers, analyzed the patterns. 10,000 bets from winners and losers, and what I found blew my mind. Because the difference between the guys who consistently make money has nothing to do with knowing more about sports. It's not your picks, it's not your research, it's not how many hours you spend watching film. It's something way simpler than that. And here's the thing, the moment I show you this, frankly, you're gonna be pissed off. Because you'll realize already you have everything you need to be on the winning side. You'll be asking yourself, how did I not figure this out for myself before? Well, don't blame yourself too hard. Because this information is hidden on purpose. If everyone knew about this, the sportsbooks would go bankrupt overnight. So stay with me. I'll explain exactly what I found in a second. My name is Tony, founder of Sportsbet Insiders. And in my first year, using mathematical systems most people don't even know exist, I made over $1 million in profit. But before that, I was losing badly. Quick background. I grew up in Richmond Housing Commission in Melbourne. That's like the projects in the Bronx, poverty and crime. I somehow got into Melbourne High School, where only the top 1% of students in Australia get in. I thought being smart at math meant that I could beat the bookies. And I had a decent run, until I lost $5,000 in one session betting on greyhounds. That loss actually changed my life, because I stopped gambling and started studying, really studying. Took a risk with my last money, and flew out to Colorado to learn from my mentor and refine my systems. And eventually, I cracked it. Now, I've helped over 2,200 people do the same. Regular, everyday Americans who are sick and tired of losing. And they're now making consistent, guaranteed profits every month using AI and math. If you bet on sports, doesn't matter if you've been doing it for 6 months or 20 years, and you feel like you almost win, like you're right a lot, but somehow still come up short at the end of the month. Or if you've ever wondered why some people seem to win consistently while you're stuck in the same losing cycle no matter what you try, then this video is going to be genuinely eye-opening for you. And by the way, if after watching this, you want to see the exact system we use to guarantee profits, I've put together a free training at sportsbetinsiders.com, link in the description. More on that at the end. Let's get into it. So when I started going through these 10,000 bets, I expected to find some huge difference in the quality of picks. Like, I thought winners were just choosing better games, more informed, smarter reads. Nope. Here's what the data actually showed. The losers were right about the game outcome roughly the same percentage of the time as the winning bettors. Let me say that again, because it matters. Same win rate on picking the actual outcome. So if it's not about picking winners, what is it? It's two things, and they're connected. Number one, how they think about each bet. Winners think in EV, losers think in outcomes. Number two, how they manage their money. Winners follow a system, losers follow their emotions. That's it. That's the whole difference. You probably already know that the best sports bettors in the world don't celebrate a win or mourn a loss the way you do. Now you know why. Let me explain what EV thinking actually means, because this is where most people's minds get unlocked. EV stands for expected value, and here's a simple way to think about it. Imagine flipping a coin, heads or tails, 50-50. Now, imagine someone offers you a bet. You pay $1, you win $2 if it's heads. You lose $1 if it's tails. Even if the next flip lands on tails, even if you lose that specific bet, was that a good bet to take? Absolutely yes. Every time, without question. Because the math says, on average, you'll win more than you lose. The EV is positive. Now here's where losers go wrong. They place a bet, it loses, and they think, that was a bad pick, and they change their strategy. But the pick might have been perfect. The math might have been exactly right. They just got unlucky on one flip. And because they reacted emotionally to the outcome, instead of evaluating the math, they abandoned the winning strategy and replaced it with a worse one. Winners do the opposite. Winners ask, was this bet mathematically correct? Yes or no? If yes, they're happy. Doesn't matter if it won or not. They've made the right decision, and over time, right decisions compound into profit. That's the game. And while you wonder if this is too simple to be the real answer, I want you to discover that the most powerful edge in sports betting isn't some secret pick formula, It's just thinking clearly about math when everyone else is thinking emotionally. This is what the data from 10,000 bets shows. Winners think in math, losers think in moments. That's the separation. Now let me show you exactly how the losing cycle works. Because if you've experienced this, you're going to nod your head. Losing bettors place a bet. They're confident. Maybe they've watched every game this week. They know this pick is right. What happens? They lose. So what do? Option A, they go bigger on the next bet to win it back. Classic martingale thinking. And I know this one personally, because that's exactly what I did when I lost $5,000 in one night. Option B, they second guess everything, abandon their picks and start following some random guy's tips online. Option C, they choose a parlay, because hey, if one bet's not working, why not combine 5 of them for a bigger payout? And every single one of those reactions is driven by emotion. Not math, not logic, emotion. Now here's the brutal truth. Bookies know this. They are counting on this. The sportsbook's entire profit model depends on you making emotional decisions. They set their lines specifically to trigger your psychology. Near misses, close calls, last leg of the parlay, losers. It is literally engineered to make you react. If you react, they win. Every single time. If you don't react, if you just follow the math, that's when you start winning. The more you chase losses, the more the house takes. The more you follow the math, the more the edge shifts to you. That's how this works. So let me break down specifically what the winning bettors in my data were doing differently. It was 3 things. Discipline number 1. They bet only positive EV situations. They weren't just picking games they liked. They were looking for situations where the math was in their favor, when the odds were mispriced relative to the real probability of the outcome. That's the foundation. If the math isn't positive, you don't bet. Full stop. Winners skip more bets than they place. Losers place bets on everything because they're bored, or because they have a feeling. Can you imagine what it would do to your results if you just stopped betting every game you have a feeling about, and only bet when the math says yes? That one shift alone could transform most people's outcomes. Discipline number 2. They use bankroll management like a business. This one sounds boring, I know, stick with me. Winning bettors treated their bankroll like a business owner treats capital. They never bet more than a fixed percentage of their total bankroll on a single bet, usually 1 to 5%. They didn't go bigger after losses. They didn't go bigger after wins. They were flat, systematic, and boring about it. Meanwhile, the average loser is betting $500 on a Monday, $50 on a Tuesday because they lost on Monday. Then $1,200 on Wednesday because they need to get back to even. That's not betting, that's just financial chaos. When you bet systematically, the math has a chance to play out over time. And when the math is in your favor over time, that means profit. That's it. Anyone is able to make consistent money sports betting. The only requirement is that you let the math work for you instead of fighting it. Discipline number 3. They never relied on picks alone. They relied on systems. Here's the biggest difference. Losers follow tipsters. They follow Reddit threads. They follow sharp money alerts. They're always looking for someone to tell them what to bet. Winners follow systems. Because a tipster might be right 60% of the time, but without a mathematical edge baked into how you bet, without positive EV on the odds themselves, a 60% win rate can still lose you money long term. Winners have a defined process. They find the mispriced odds. They cover outcomes mathematically. They follow the system regardless of what their gut says. And the results are consistent because the system is consistent. This is exactly why we don't gamble at Sportsbet Insiders. We use a proprietary mathematical system using AI that identifies positive EV situations, hedges outcomes across multiple sportsbooks, and guarantees profit regardless of the game result. The system wins, not the pick, the system. And that's what the 10,000 bet study keeps confirming. Winners have systems, losers have feelings. That's the gap. Now here's what I want you to take from this, because this is the part that matters the most. If you've been losing, it's not because you're bad at this. It's not because you don't know enough about sports. It's not because you're unlucky. It's not because bookies are just too good. It's because nobody taught you how to think about betting the right way. You were taught to pick teams. You were taught to do research. You were taught to follow your gut on big games. And none of that is wrong necessarily. It's just incomplete because it leaves out the math layer. And the math layer is where the money lives. Think about how different your results would look when you stop reacting to outcomes and start evaluating math. Think about what happens when every bet you place has positive expected value baked in before you even confirm it. Think about what it feels like to place a bet knowing that you're in profit territory before the game even starts. That's not gambling. That's operating a money machine. Compare that to the guy who's been betting for 10 years, still losing, still chasing, still convinced that 1 week of good picks is going to change everything. Sooner or later, that guy realizes he's holding himself back by not following a mathematical system. The only question is whether that realization comes now or another 10 years later. So now let me tell you what we actually do as Sportsbet Insiders, because this is the practical application of everything I just explained. We've built a proprietary mathematical system using AI that does 3 things. First, it identifies mispriced odds across multiple sportsbooks. Different bookies price the same game differently, sometimes significantly differently. Our system finds those gaps. Second, it hedges all outcomes. We don't bet on one side and hope. We cover both sides mathematically so that no matter what happens in the game, we're in profit. This isn't gambling. There's no luck involved. Third, it extracts value from bonuses. Sportsbooks give away sign-up bonuses, reload bonuses, promo bets. Most people take these bonuses and throw them on a parlay and lose them. We turn those bonuses into guaranteed cash using the same hedging math. The EV on every single bet is positive before we even place it. That's not a promise, it's math. And it's not just theory. Mike from Columbus, Ohio, construction manager, been losing for years, made $4,100 in guaranteed profits in his first 30 days. James from Atlanta, 20 years of losing, turned $5,000 into $16,500 in 3 months. His wife thought he was lying until she saw the bank statements. Sarah, a single mom from Denver, had $5,800 saved up, made $3,900 in 45 days. Said it literally changed everything for her family. These aren't people who suddenly got better at picking games. They just switched from emotional betting to mathematical betting. That's the whole transformation. It's very positive and comforting to know that the difference between where you are and where they are is a system, not talent, not luck. A system you can copy for yourself. Back to those 10,000 bets. The winners went smarter. They weren't luckier. They had a system that removed emotion from the equation. That's all this is. All right, let me bring this all home. Here's what the data from 10,000 bets tell us in plain English. Losers bet on feelings. Winners bet on math. Losers chase outcomes. Winners follow systems. Losers react. Winners execute. And the gap between those two groups is not some massive knowledge difference that takes years to close. It's a methodology. And a methodology can be easily learned. That's exactly what we teach inside Sportsbet Insiders. I've put together a free training at sportsbetinsiders.com, link in the description, that walks you through the exact AI mathematical system we use. You'll see how the bonus method works, how the hedging math works, how we identify mispriced odds and cover all outcomes, step by step. Now here's something I want you to understand about timing. The edge we're exploiting exists because different sportsbooks price things differently, because they compete with each other, because they offer bonuses to attract customers. But look at what's happening in the market right now. DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM, Caesars, they now control about 80% of the US market. And they're getting bigger through mergers. When bookies merge, they share data. They share customer profiles. They share algorithms. And when enough of them share enough data, they start pricing in sync with each other. They stop competing as hard on bonuses. The mathematical gaps that we exploit start to close. This isn't a scare tactic. Those mergers are public record. The window is open right now. I don't know how long it stays open, but every month you wait is a month of guaranteed profits you're leaving on the table, and a month closer to the window closing permanently. So click the link in the description. Go watch the free training. See the system for yourself and make a decision. Winners follow systems. I teach mine inside Sportsbet Insiders. I'll see you there.